Gina Kasau, Yay Carfi, Rike Hanuna, Zamantare, Suri Amadamade, Amamuadu, Father that making you Dan Wana, Zamantare, Zamadaya, Gina Kasau, Yay Carfi, Rike Hanuna. Take a year so what at the house, take a year so what at the Yuba, take a year so what at the Igbo, take a year so what at the Ibibu, take a year so what at the Fulani, take a year so what at the Ibiri, take a year so what at the Urubu, what at the
All right, good morning. Beautiful morning again. Good to be back, Nigeria. You are tuned in to Smashlands on your favorite day, broadcasting live from the heart of the city of Abeokuta. And your host, Ralph ENISAN, as always, a pleasure to be with you. Today, we are looking at a topic that affects millions of Nigerian youths and sparks discussion across campuses, communities, and corridors of power. We are talking about the National Youth Service Corps, better known as NYSC, a program that has for decades been positioned as a symbol of unity, national development, and youth empowerment. But this morning, we ask, is the NYC scheme truly achieving its purpose so far? And more important, the recent proposal to extend the service year to 2 years. We dig deeper and what would that mean for the youths and how will it benefit or burden the government and what impact would that have on the society at large? And to help unpack this and more is someone whose voice you know and respect, a sharp mind and a dynamic analyst, no doubt. Dr. John joins me in live via phone this morning. As always, to have you here, Dr. Good to talk to you.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
All right, absolutely, and we'll be breaking it down, and we'll be looking at the advantages. Let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of the current NYC scheme, and what a 2 year extension could mean, and its progress, or is a progress or a problem, or is it a reform or regression? So whether you are a current COP member or a recent graduate or just a concerned citizen, this one is for you. All you need to do is to stay locked and don't forget that we would love to hear from you later and more to hear your own contribution. Which you can join us on our Facebook Live and drop your comments. You can join us via the phone when we throw the phone lines open. But now let's have the conversation with Dotto and swing into action just that way. All right, Dotun, good to have you. So now let's begin the show. Dotun, to you, NYC scheme. Let's look at the scheme itself, the purpose, and today reality. Are they still intact? Hello. Okay, are you with me, Dotun?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I said that the NYC scheme, the purpose, and today's reality. Do you think they are still intact?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And I think the intent of the establishment of the National Youth Service Corps is noble. The involvement of the people has been noble. And I think the current reality might have affected the system a bit, but it has not completely taken away the fact that the nation needed it when it started. And maybe when we continue to innovate, we may continue to make it relevant. But here is the major issue that we have. I am going to cite our educational system, for example. A young guy from my church had gained admission into the Polytechnic, and he had reached out to me. And we've been supporting and been praying for him. And at a point, I was moved to ask him exactly what he was studying. And he said secretarial studies. And further conversation revealed that up to today in the Polytechnic, those who still go through that course, secretarial study, still learn shorthand. And some of them still use old typewriters. If you take that out to the reality, that is to say that we have not learned to initiate our policies, our programs, and projects to meet up with this reality. So even when the programs are noble, the reality of the 21st century has reduced their efficiency. And I think it's also one of the problems that NYC is facing. And let me cite this very good example. In the last 1 year, personally, I've had over 10 people reach out to me to help them their NYSC either to Abuja or to Lagos. How do you think I have such power? It's a conversation for another day.
Well, I think you do. Hello? I think you do. So let me just support them too. So that just move on. Let's move on. You and I will discuss that later. Let's move on.
So at least 10 people have reached out to me, including the one that sent reached out to me, I think about who was telling me that she in Lagos. Now, you continue to ask yourself, quickly, when I served, I actually served in the city of Port Harcourt. And I remember that my uncle was calling repeatedly to intervene, to ensure that I served either in Ondo State or in Lagos, very close to my place. When and I decided for my period in the camp, I decided to actually put off my phone because I did not want to talk to him. Now, how many parents can take the risk of leaving their children or their wards to go serve in the northern part of Nigeria? How many parents can take the risk of leaving their children, even from southwest there, from Abeokuta here or Lagos, who can take the risk of allowing their children to go serve in the eastern part of the country? How many people? In fact, for those that are serving, my friend and brother, the youth leader of Afenifere, who was recently released, was kidnapped somewhere between Ondo State and Edo State. 1 p.m. in the afternoon. 1 p.m. Now, when you look at the current realities, and also let me also quickly add, because it's part of the reality, that as you are graduating, they push you to schools to serve. And the essence of that is because of the fact that there's no place anywhere that is even willing to have some of these youth members except they complement teaching in schools. That again has been defeated. The first purpose, which is national integration, is being affected because people don't want to go far from where they live because of insecurity and all of that. The second essence, which is a social experience, is also being challenged by the fact that those who study this cannot get a place to experience for 1 year. They have to blanket everybody and send them to school. All of these are I'm so glad about what Olawande was doing at the moment. That's talking about the Minister of Youth Development.
Okay.
Trying to see how they can make youth members to serve in areas. But again, this will be challenged by first the system structure. Second, the economic situation is affecting industrialization in Nigeria. You will remember, in independence, we were just a people of about 50 million. As at 1980, or around that time, okay, let me put it this way. As at the time NYC started, we were just about 77 million people. Now, we are over 250 million people. And the pace of our population is not matching with the pace of our industrialization. So when you have this peculiar challenge, what does that tell you? It tells you that we'll continue to have to graduate and there will not be place for them for employment in the first place, not to talk of NYC. These are the challenges before us. So with this period, it will not be too illogical to say that when NYC started, it was, but the nobility has been affected by the current realism. And except we embrace innovation, we may continue to go, let's make it 2 years, let's make it 3 years, and the result will remain the same.
All right, Dr. Very good, brilliant one. I mean, taking a look at the purpose of the scheme and the reality of what we have today. So, but if you are not looking at this really, Doctor, and you will be wanting to ask yourself that the scheme, I mean, putting it under the policy of or a democratic policy, is that why you will say the scheme is gradually or the purpose is not achieving its aim anymore? Because what I mean here is that you have a minister who probably just are not aligning with the purpose of the scheme and wanting to just do it the way they feel they should, because at a time NYC is a system in which even most companies relied upon to get the best of their staff by bringing in coppers and say, "Oh, let them do 1 year, let's see their character, let's see their competence, let's see their capability, versatility, dynamism, even perseverance, and lots more that is required for somebody to be a brilliant staff of an organization." And that those were the things many were relying on. But at the time, the scheme just decided that, oh, the coppers will not be posted to companies. They should just go to school, serve the country, and whatsoever. Do we really need to reorientate the people in charge about the purpose and for them to factor their ways into the purpose and see how much the scheme can still achieve despite the reality we have? Or you just thinking that there should be a total, rebuild of the purpose or probably the scheme, or maybe the 2 years of proposition? But before we come to the 2 years, let's look at this itself.
Okay, I think to be fair to NYC, I'm not sure it was the organization that made a blanket decision that core members should be sent to school. It was the reality of the fact that organizations have begun to reject NYC core members because he did not start yesterday. It is starting gradually, because when you have when demand, when supply is more than demand, automatically price will fall. And I think that's the situation for organizations who need 2, 3, and NYC is posting 10, 11. In fact, the first thing that will happen is that they become useless to the organization. They will not be able to bring anything to the table. Because, come to think about it, maybe there's not even job for 3 people and you're bringing 10 people. I think that was where the identification of the fact that there's a gap in schools that need to be covered. And I think that's why. And because when you get to, even in Abuja today, when you get to some of these schools, you will still notice that they are short-staffed. Some kids still sit on their floor across the nation, and it's not peculiar to one place. So they found out that maybe this is where the gap that NYC core members could feel exists. In organizations today, there are no gap. In fact, it's getting, let me use our normal street language, the pressure is getting worse because we discovered that people in organization now, they are trying to run a compact organization because of the economic situation they have found themselves in. So when you look at all of this, you want to excuse NYC, but the only thing is that the only responsibility that one will need to push to their table is that when you run an organization, the essence of leadership is to look at the weather, to be able to predict the rain that will fall in the future.
Okay.
So when you look at the weather, you'll be able to predict the rain that then you begin to make your train line effective. You clear it. And for leaders who don't see the weather, who are unable to plan for the rain, they get carried away by the erosion. And I think that's what has happened to anyone. In fact, to our education system. Is because majority of organizations, especially government establishment, they say government work is nobody's work. Yeah. So nobody is actually having a plan for the future in government establishment. In every organization, in broadcasting today, for example, where you belong, people have seen the future. They know that you need to take your radio or television to where the eyeballs are. And that's why there's no single radio station today who does not have a Facebook account. There's no single television station today who is not on YouTube. That's not on YouTube, rather. So this is exactly what happened to NYC because it's just we see government's job as just a means of earning salary. And nobody is planning for the future. And the future has come with us now. The rain has fallen and the erosion is taking us away. And I think it's the innovation that match up the current reality that we did not put in place where we're supposed to put it in place. And that's why it's looking as if NYC is just a stopgap for people to take federal government salary. And at the end of the day, we return them back looking for a 20,000 job.
All right, Dr. Now let's look at the scheme. I mean, with efforts of the government. Let's look at how youths are actually the belief of the youth about the scheme itself. Do you really think our youths are even looking at it as a bridge between where they're coming from and where they're going to? Do you really think the youths are seeing the scheme as that bridge? Because back then, especially in our days, or I mean, days of those that I mean, they're basically ahead of us. People always see that okay, if you finish your university and move on to serve the nation, it's gradually telling you and gradually giving you an insight into what the future looks like. So now let's look at the belief of the youth and the scheme itself. Do you really think they are on the same page?
Okay, I think generally and there's a major disconnect between what the people of the nation, and when you talk about the people of the nation, any community that you have up to 60-70% of the populace as youth, then you can simply just say the belief of the youth in our community. There seems to be a very big gap between what the youth currently think and what the government currently does. And as a result of that, there's a big disbelief in government activity. So generally, the people don't believe in their government any longer. And as a result of the fact that they've completely lost interest in who governs them or how they are governed. In fact, beyond the noise of criticism in our virtual space, which is the social media, you will see when you interact with these people, you will see that the level of their expectation from their government is really very low. And this is born out of past failure. And failure in this sense is the fact that because the government says we are working, and I want to believe that they are working. But here is the challenge. When you use inanimate central medication to cure a 21st century sickness, the best you will get is a 20th century healing. The people in power, the policy makers, are working on what I call old strategy that is unable to procure 21st century solution. In that wise, is a big gap. So relating it to the issue of NYSC, you discover that most time the people are not favorably disposed to whatever it is that government is doing now. But again, there's a percentage that are survivor. The 70,000 naira currently being paid, or the 30,000 naira that was paid before, means a lot to them. To this category of people who struggle throughout school, whose parents struggle, and we have a whole lot of them whose parents struggle to borrow money to pay their school fee and all of that through school. They see NYC as a period of temporary solace that is going to bring out something for them, and we teach them at least how to answer that. Here is the issue, and I was jokingly telling my friend about this. It's a scenario that I'm trying to create, so it's not a situation. In a private school, the principal earns 70,000. The teachers earn between 30 and 50,000 in a private school. A youth corps member has just been posted there, maybe last week. He earned 70,000 naira from the government. And the school has a way of saying, oh, we will not allow our copper to just come without paying them anything. The school has decided to pay the NYC corps member 15,000 naira. 15 plus 70, that is 85,000. Remember that 70,000. And the youth corps member, and this amount for a year, only for him after service. The principal congratulated him. He happened to be the best youth corps member posted on the school. And the principal handed to him an employment letter. That because of the fact that he has done so well in the last 1 year, they are retaining him to teach mathematics. And the NYC corps member had gone home. He had looked right, left, and center. There was no hope elsewhere than for him to take the job. Everybody has hugged him and congratulated him, only for him to read the part that says that his take home is 30,000. Remember that last month he has earned a total of 85,000 naira as a youth corps member. So, if we are not careful, we will continue to create a virtual reality for the people. And that takes us to the fact beyond what we think about NYC, it must be structured in a way that effectively transmit people from school to real reality. And the real reality is that nobody should go through NYC and not have the prerequisite experience that will make him learn a job that is reasonable and at least reasonably paying more than the minimum wage that he earns as NYC corps member.
So, Doctor, if we need to look at what you are saying is that NYC should be that scheme that is going to be that bridge between school and the future.
Absolutely so.
Okay, and a lot of things should be done to make that happen, right? And one of those things should probably be an empowerment opportunity for the youth. Is that not so?
Now, when you talk about empowerment, really,
I just want to break all this down, but let's pay some bills so that we can look more into what the scheme can do, so that we don't have the repeat of this scenario you just painted who sometimes want to bring tears in one's eyes of a club member earning 85 and after being retained, returned back to 30,000. A scenario of reality, but seems more dramatic. But we'll be back after this break. We will look more into this and more. Stay with us.
Smash 88.1 FM. Feel it. Feel
àwọn èèyàn tó lórí àtọwọ́ epo kan ní bíríbírí àwọn láti union bank ti ṣètò bílíọ̀nù lọ́nà àádóje kan náírà láti jẹ nínú save and win pali promo kẹrin bẹ́ẹ̀ ni olùdíje kan lára àwọn olóríire èèyàn mẹ́ta tó máa jẹ ẹ̀bùn kàǹkàkàkà mílíọ̀nù márùn-ún náírà pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀bùn alárinrin tó kù láti jẹ bí ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà pamọ́ tàbí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sínú àkáǹtì union bank rẹ kó o sì ṣe ìdókòwò lọ́nà márùn-ún kéré jù lóṣù láti ṣí àkáǹtì tiẹ̀ lọ sí unionbankng.com. ìlànà àtòfin wà o Union Bank ilé ìfowópamọ́ tó rọrùn.
ìyá àgbà ẹjọ́ ẹ bá mi fi bọ̀kọ̀tọ̀ kòkó garu yẹn sí ẹ sì fún lóbìnrin kan yẹn sí ẹ tún fi ṣàkí onígbàwé yẹn náà sí àti.
arákùnrin ẹjọ́ ẹ̀yin wo lẹ fẹ́ fi jẹ gbogbo eléyìí ẹ̀yin ìyá máa yọ yín lẹ́nu o.
iye ti dàfí sẹ́yìn ní báyìí ṣé ni mò ń yan fanda tí mò ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọṣẹ ìfọyín tuntun close up complete fresh protection mo ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn o ọṣẹ ìfọyín tuntun close up complete fresh protection àfọ ẹ̀láàbò tó péye lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ nílò oní fluoride àti antibacterial zinc tó mú kéyìn ẹ̀ gbó kéké bẹ́ẹ̀ ló máa ń gbani lọ́wọ́ kòkòrò jẹyínjẹyín èyí tó lè mú kéyìn máa lù.
ẹni tó ń tètè lọ ọṣẹ ìfọyín tuntun close up complete fresh protection tèmi báyìí.
close up complete fresh protection fún ìtọ́jú tó péye lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ nílò owó àdúgbò aláwọ̀ aró.
Build a far water chill cement now. Oh, welcome, sir. Sir, we're set to begin the foundation.
Oh, everything's set?
Everything, sir. We have the estimates for the granite, the sand, the iron rod, the concrete block, the cement,
Wait, engineer. What cement are you planning to use?
Oh, the normal cement.
The normal cement?
Yes.
You know the area is waterlogged and you say normal cement? Have you not heard of Water Shield, the new waterproof cement binder designed to protect buildings from water damage and water damage to your property? If you're building in a waterlogged area, then your best bet is the new Water Shield cement by Lafarge. Water Shield is a waterproof, high-strength cement expertly formulated for all interior and external use in waterlogged areas. And water damage to your property.
Life is a stage, a child's joyful dance, a friend's unexpected joke, a sunset you didn't plan to see. With the Techno Common 40 series, just lift, tap, and capture. AI flash snap and a 50 megapixel ultra sensing camera make every moment count. No delays, no retakes. Go get any of the Techno Common 40 series with Google on Android today, because life moves fast. No pause, just snap. Available now at all slot, 3C, Royal Line, Spectrum, Pointec, Top Success, Solat, Regido, and Phoenix stores nationwide. Techno, stop at nothing.
Hello, mọ́mì, ṣé dáadáa lẹ wà? Mo fẹ́ fún dábàá yẹn lówó yín kó bá yín kó wá sábúlé ni o.
Má ṣe ìyọnu ọmọ mi, fi ránṣẹ́ sáńtàtì smart cash mi.
Mọ́mì, ẹ̀yin náà mọ̀ nípa smart cash.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, wọ́n máa ń fún mi lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀bùn ọ̀fẹ́. Fi ránṣẹ́ sí nọ́mbà Airtel mi.
Ó dá o, màá mi tó já.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o, ó yẹ kẹsàn-án 939 tàbí kó download ohun èlò smart cash láti ṣí àkáǹtì rẹ. Kí ìwọ náà lè jẹ gbádùn àǹfààní ńlá 20,000 naira lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí smart cash. O máa ná nínú ìfà 20,000 naira rẹ nígbàkúùgbà. Tó o bá ra àkókò afẹ́fẹ́ tàbí tó o bá ṣe ìsanwó pẹ̀lú smart cash. O tún máa jẹ gbádùn gbígbé owó lọ sí báǹkì èyíkéyìí ní Nàìjíríà lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ìlànà àti òfin wà.
Hello, ó ti wọlé o.
Smash 88.1 FM. Feel it. Feel good.
All right, so still Smashlands live on Smash 88.1 FM, reaching you from our studios here to get your media Smash FM studios, okay? And I'll see how Dr. John very much closer to the microphone and giving us its insight and his own, belief of what the scheme NYC and especially the proposed 2 years extension could be like, and looking at it from all perspectives, really. And in case you want to be part of it too, 09048881881 is 09048881881 is 0706991. Let's have the conversation together and your own opinion about the scheme. What do you think government can do better? What do you think the youth can do better? How do you think this can be a bridge between the school, university, and the future for the youth, really, right? Let's look at how the NYC could be that source of emancipation for our youth for a better life. So, let's come back to it. Let's start looking at the proposal, which is about the 2 years extension. And if you want to look at it, many will tell you that 2 years extension means that more time for skills development. Extension could allow for deeper training in entrepreneurship, digital skills, and even vocational programs. Let's look at this. Are you in line with that?
Okay. It's neither here nor there, because the mindset we have in this country that has to be challenged is the fact that when we have more, we do more. It is logic of growth that it is that we do more. And the reason why the government is particularly behaving like MMM is because of the fact that we've always believed that we will have more. We will do more when we have more. Anyone who is unable to manage whatever it is that he has now cannot manage. In fact, it will duplicate his rascality when he has more. And I think it is about how you do one thing. In philosophy, it is believed that how you do one thing is how you do more things. So I am totally not comfortable with people thinking that, for example, somebody served in government for 4 years and he did practically nothing. And our society will still believe that, if he has more time, he will do more. What do you want him to do? He will duplicate failure and replicate stupidity. So there's nothing about more time, more achievement if people cannot do with what they have now. For example, what will change? The only thing that will change will mean that we are employing people under the government to earn 70,000 naira for a period of 2 years. And do you know the sadness? After earning 70,000 or 88,000, like the scenario that I've painted, for 2 solid years, and you now go back to earning 30,000 in the corporate world. Some of the challenges.
But you are not looking at the empowerment opportunities there, which if you hand that and you are able to put one or two things together with the support of people around, that could land you an Eldorado. If one, I'm thinking, I don't know if you believe.
So now you see what the problem is. It is not just a subject of the NYSC as a scheme alone. It's also a subject of the people that are participating in it. And this will take us a bit backward. If the school that you came out from modeled you for certification and civil service job, remember, you've been in school for close to 15 years because you spent 6 here, you spent another 6 there, that's 12 years. You spent another 4. That's you've been in school for roughly 16 years. And everything that the school has taught you is about certification and civil service. And you suddenly get out of school and you enter NYSC. and you think the 2 years will teach you, or the 1 year will teach you entrepreneurship in a way that you'll be able to get out of it and do something meaningful with your life. We are just kidding. Until we move backwards, take a few steps backward and see that how do we begin to mold people deliberately for impact in their community. When we get to this point, then we will know that 1 year of NYC is even too much. For example, you get to, if you ever been to Israel today, you see those beautiful people carrying gun, beautiful women, handsome guys, queuing on the road. You will be shocked that it is a similar program like the NYC that they went through that molded them into the military. Now, because from the beginning they had a mindset that, oh, this is what we are, the school is molding us to become. In our own case, the school is molding us strictly for certification. And when you extend NYSC, people are still going to go through it. Because you haven't taught them the principle of money management, they will also still get the money. If 2 years NYC is able to establish anybody in Nigeria, the question I'm going to ask you, how is it that 5 years job has not been able to establish them?
All right, Doctor. In a minute, let's hear this person. If the person will actually be in line with you. Hello. Good morning. Hello. 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 I think the network is not getting friendly. All right, Doctor, please go ahead. I'm with you.
What our focus should be primarily is the fact that what innovation can we bring into this 1 year? How can we collaborate with every agency of government that is involved in building a complete graduate? Because NYSC is not in isolation.
Yeah.
School is part of it.
Yeah.
Everybody is part of it. So how can we bring them together, all the agencies that are involved, sit down with them and say, okay, let's have a 5 years plan. In the next 5 years, this is what we want to do to ensure that at least NYC properly introduces people that pass through it into the community in a way that whosoever passes through the NYC will be solid enough to be able to embrace the reality of the work of their work life. But NYC cannot do this alone. It has to. So if you do not have this conversation and you extend it, the only kudos that we will give to you is the fact that, oh, you have created an opportunity for people to earn salary for 2 years. And at the end of the day, we will give you another knock for returning them into the job market to earn 10,000 after 2 years.
All right, so Dotun, with what you have just said now, it's now a clear understanding that a lot of times when we are talking about policy change, we just change, or we've always wished to change policy without looking at a way of fine tuning that policy to meet up with all other connectivity. You understand? So, connectivity here means that the idea of the idea of saying let's extend NYSC, if we achieve it, might be what government has seen as okay. Maybe this will serve as more like a talent empowerment, to the youth. Or how do they always the empowerment too now is becoming one grammar that one is trying to even understand, because even without doing anything now, the government can empower you. It's just the empowerment is about. Is it about making people smile now? Is it that what you guys have changed it to? I don't know. Is it just about putting smile on people's faces as empowerment, or giving people what's good to give them that meaningful future?
You see, if you taste government money just once, so
Okay.
every other job will look like stress to you. And that is how
So you're sounding like somebody from experience. I don't know if we need to take this conversation further later. All right, let me listen to you on this.
I have people that have tasted the environment of government and they have become completely useless to themselves because every other jobs now look like stress to them because they sat in their house. And I'm talking about it was very scary. My very good cousin, 2006, received 250,000 naira from the government. See, it was like from nothing to overnight somebody, and he could just after 2 weeks back to his poverty. And I'm sure that up to today, he's been waiting for
Now
another
let's now take everything. Let's not take all these blames away from of government's doorstep, and let's place it on the people. And they always say that the leadership we get is the reflection of the society in which we have. How do you guys always say it? So to tell you that you cannot take leadership away from the people, and you cannot take the people away from leadership. You have just painted a scenario, a beautiful one we want to say, but it's already ended badly. Government as of 2006, you want to say, transferred 250,000 naira to someone, putting smile on the face of that person. You understand? And now, government has done that. If this comes once in a while, from government as empowerment, like they always say, maybe out of what they have borrowed, they've decided to say, okay, let's make our people smile too. We're not Lama Father anyway, So, and they have transferred little to you. You understand? And he has not been able to bring life out of it. You will still blame government for that very, very lackadaisical attitude.
So it is a bit here and there. I have always said it and repeatedly so. I'm not in the class of those people that we just think that government is bad. Government is bad. Government is bad because the people permit it. And the extent of the rot in any government is directly traced to the extent of the rot in people's hearts. Government just help a few of us to amplify our personal character. Having said that, let me tell you, it is the mentality of government who always want to do this kind of empowerment. How we got that mentality, I do not know. And we must continue to ring a bell. A House of Reps member had met with me to develop a strategy for him. And I developed a strategy around agriculture. But this is why he didn't return. I told him that I wanted him to create what we call community farm. Community farm is so a kind of land in this community. And the essence of it is to take hunger away and engage the community in a way that there will be a portion that will be sold, that will bring money for them because the community will engage in the farming by themselves. But the only difference is that the House of Rep member is bringing all the mechanized equipment to do it. And at the end of the day, he asked me, do you think this is what the community wants? I told him, no. I said, this is what the community needs. And once you do what the community needs and you do what the community wants, you will not be re-elected. I said, they don't run away. Because the essence of any intervention is for him to be re-elected. So that will tell you that most of the time, the community, the way we want things are not the way that things should be done ordinarily. But the essence of leadership is to go against that so that they can redirect our focus. For example, now, these 2 years NYC will be a true way of the government thinking that, okay, we will empower the people. But I am sitting here as a strategist, looking at the weather and I'm doing the focus of the rain that will fall into in the future. And I am telling you that if we do not do one or two things, number one of them is to fine-tune the mindset of people that are participating in NYC right from school. A man comes out, for example, and says, God bless America. And that you hear gunshots in America killing a few people. And another person has come out this morning to say, God bless America. And you are thinking, the reality of what is happening in this country does not support the belief of the people. It is a product of the education they have. Can I shock you, sir? National Security Advisor have input in the curriculum of the nation. I mean, serious-minded people. They have input. They redirect your mind from primary school about what you should believe about your nation. And when you get out, the percentage of people that want to belong to Boko Haram has practically reduced. But here we are stuck with the syllabus of 1970 something, and we continue to produce half-baked people who think that the only essence of NYC is to draw salary. And when you make it 2 years without correcting some of these anomalies, you are only complicating issue. Truly, like my brother who got 250,000, people will get money. But at the end of the day, they will not be able to do anything with it because you have not taught them in the recess of it how to make a life out of whatever it is that they get. The only thing the education they are giving has pointed them to is to leave the NYC and start looking for job. Now, when you start looking for job without experience, what job are you going to get? Because there's no preparation that says that the 2 years NYC will make people who study mass communication to serve in a place that they will have required skill. There's no doctrine law that says that people who study banking will serve the banking hall and be able to make something out of it at the end of the day. You carry everybody to school. And because they are not even interested in teaching, they see the only glory in NYC as the salary. And after the salary, you return them back into the core state of the society.
All right, Doctor, a minute. Let's hear this person. A minute. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Your name and where you calling from quickly?
My name is Comrade Bayo Usman. I'm calling from Abeokuta.
All right.
I want to confirm the rate of the airtime rate. I'm planning to.
All right. Hello. Hello. All right, Doctor. You still there? Hello. All right. Sorry. A quick one, really, right? So that we can, close on with the show, really. Right? So, on a final note, let's start looking at what you think beyond the 2 years and with the current 1 year. You have actually, I mean, you've broken everything down. You've done a better analysis of what you think should be done and what. But yet, what we want to ask you, how would you, if you are privileged to advise, I want to say stakeholders now because beyond NYSC, you have to talk about the Ministry of Education as well. You have to talk about the universities and lots more. If you have to advise all the stakeholders and giving us a befitting NYSC scheme that could bring about the purpose and the focus of the scheme and return us to that ideal nation that we all dream of, what would be your position?
Okay, I think in the immediate, the first thing that has to be done is to departmentalize the 1 year.
Okay.
In a way that, it is compulsory for everybody to go camp.
Yeah.
It's compulsory. I know that because of the level of our politicking now, anything can happen. But there's still a strong essence of people going to camp. The first thing is to departmentalize it in a way where at least 4 months of that NYC must be spent in deliberate acquisition of skill.
Okay.
I mean deliberate. And by deliberate, I mean that a well-supervised acquisition of skill. And as you are picking, as you are what's it called? As you are applying for NYC, because there's a form you are going to fill, there must be a portion in there that says, okay, you study philosophy or you study banking. If you do not get a job in the bank, where else would you like to work? Or what skill would you like to acquire? Yeah. And I can say film editing or this. So we compile them. And as it's a compulsory 4 months that these people will be trained. We need to bring a lot of seriousness into our activities if you want to see any form of activity in our future. So when we departmentalize it, the person is not only coming out at the end of the day. Then, like the minister Minister of Africa said, then we also need to make people serve in their relevant area. Have partnership so that those that are coming out serve in relevant area. And how to do this is that, not to go to the system, is that these relevant areas, they are not spending more than 4 months. So if this group comes, they are spending about 4 or 5 months, then that group comes to replace them. Then those people move to what's it called? Position and all of that. When you have that in place, you will notice that the NYC this thing will be coming out, permit me to call them graduates, will be coming out of NYC with at least 3 things. Number one, the certificate that they have in their hand that they have participated. Number two, is the peculiar skill that they have been able to acquire. Then number three is what's it called? The in-organization experience that they've been able to acquire. Now, if you now take that this 1 year you want to be there is a form of empowerment. You can now establish them in the skill that they have learned. Instead of having them wait for 1 year, you are now empowering them with the skill. Oh, you are empowering them with, let's say, 1 million or 2 million naira. You have learned this skill, you have learned shoemaking or shoemaking or whatever it is. Oh, we are using this one to empower you in that particular area. Then when you come out, the moral ground that you have to criticize government will have died with the reality of what you receive from government. And I would like to say this in Yoruba and maybe interpret it, sir. What is available for us as a nation is enough to go around. And I do not mean go around in terms of just hand out our money. I mean go around into a great effort that will develop us and make us one of the richest countries in the world.
All right, that's what I mean. A lot of questions to push forward, a lot of things to say, but then we have to be comply with time and leave these studios. I must say thank you so much for your contribution and thank you for your time. Thank you for your overview and perspective and your concern in ensuring we have an NYSC that meets with the focus and the purpose of its establishment. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. All right, I will leave it here on Smash Lens today. We will be back on Thursday with another edition of the show where we will be placing our lens on more issues in the society. And until then, I am Ralph ENISAN. Good morning.
Radio station in the world. 88.1 Smash FM.
It's 10 o'clock.
We make you happy.